Welcome to the Juice Radio Talk Show. 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 Reality TV's church reviews. Let's talk happy love and marriage lifestyle. Come and talk with us. Come and share with us. Come and laugh with us. Come on and pray with us.
Regina Cole is a special guest. You should be following your lead. Bless. Subscribe on YouTube. Listen on podcasts. We live on IG and Facebook. This episode is sponsored by TruthAndTriumph Ministries.
Everyone, and welcome to your next series of Money Monday. I am so excited. I'm Pastor Tawana Grant. I am so excited to have you with us on today. We are getting ready to continue in our love series where we have been talking about we want to love ourselves and love our business, right? This is the month of February. We also want to wish a happy President's Day to each and every one of you as we celebrate this day. And we want to continue to pray for those who have leadership over us. That's what the scripture tells us. That reminds us to do. So while things may not be as we would expect or what we would appreciate, we still are called to pray. So let us pray for our governing bodies in every capacity, whether it's your local governing body, your city, your community, in your state, as well as the nation. So let us continue to pray, right? And so we understand that the Lord does answer prayer. And so we want to continue in that vein as well. So be encouraged today. I've talked with so many who are disencouraged by what they see and what they have heard. So I want to encourage you today that prayer answered. So let us continue to pray. And so even as we operate in faith today, we have hope, we have expectation, right? Be encouraged in the word of the Lord that he is with us. He's nigh unto us. And so we can draw nigh unto him and let him bless us. So welcome again to Money Monday here on the Juice Radio and Talk Show. We're so excited. Make sure you go onto our YouTube and make sure you subscribe. If you're watching us via Facebook Live, make sure that you go on Facebook Live and that you comment, that you also like and share. So today, welcome back to Money Monday. I am your host, Pastor Tawana Grant. Week number 1, we've been in a series on loving your business, loving yourself as the entrepreneur, the visionary. A lot of times we're extending love out, but we're not pouring it into the things that are really going to be impactful, but where we're going as an individual, as a visionary, as a ministry leader, as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, we have to make sure we give attention to those things that stabilize our purpose. And so week 1, we talked about being in alignment, really because our heart, out of the heart man speaketh, because stewardship begins in our heart. So really making sure we do the heart evaluation, that we check and make sure that we are balanced in life. Self-care is not selfish. Make sure you write that down for some of our leaders. You need to write that down and recognize self-care is imperative. You got to take care of the asset. That's you, the mission and the purpose. Week number 2, we talked about structure, because love is serious. Put systems in place. So again, this really talks about you as a leader. Are you serious about it? Because if you're serious about it, you'll put the structure, you'll put the time in, you'll put the work in, you'll put your actions to what you say. We don't want to just be hearers of the word. We want to be doers also. So even in our mission and vision, sometimes we write the vision, we make it plain, but nobody running it. Nobody's doing the plays. And so you got to make sure that now, even as you run it, that we are serious by putting the systems in place that help support it. So today, this is week number 3 in our series, because alignment without structure is unstable. Structure without execution is unused. So now that we have alignment, now that we made sure that we have structure, now without structure, if we have structure without execution, it is unused. So there are truly some places in our lives where we have structure, we have an alignment, but we're not using them to their capacity. So we want to make sure as a leader that we understand that. This week, we're talking about execution. How do we get things done? Not inspiration, not intention. We talked about that even on yesterday in worship. Not intention. Do we have good intention or do we have good soul? Are we using what we've been given to capacity? Are we working so that it multiplies, so that it adds, so that it grows, so that we have strength from it? So we want to make sure, again, execution where stewardship becomes viable. When we execute what we have steward becomes viable. It becomes of good use. It becomes enabling to the vision and mission. So again, we want to talk about that so that we make sure that we execute. We have a lot of people, we know that have great plans, but if you don't execute the plan, you'll never receive the fruit of it. And so here we want to talk about it. Let me say clearly, discipline is not punishment. It is not punishment. It may feel like it in the flesh. It does. It does in the flesh. It feels like punishment because sometimes our flesh does not want to do it. It doesn't want to do it. And so here we want to make sure that we don't neglect the fact that it is necessary. It is a necessary move. So we want to welcome all of you who are joining us today, because here discipline is not punishment. It is protection. When we protect the mission, protect the vision, protect the goal, then we will see the fruits thereof. So that's why it's so important that we evaluate what we are doing so that we discipline to protect. When I coach others as leaders, I can almost predict long-term success. I can predict it, long-term success, by one thing: their relationship with discipline habits. What kind of habits do you have? Because most often your habits are the precursor to results. When we have strong habits, when we align ourselves, and they say that sometimes that's so restrictive. No, it's protective. When you know where you need to walk in between the boundaries, when you create healthy boundaries, when you assess and you create time limits and you create accessibility based on where you're going, that is a person who is not restrictive. That is a person who is purposeful. My time has purpose. My resources has purpose. My mental intelligence has purpose to build up. So here, as a coach, as a leader, as an enabler, as a purpose pusher, I can almost tell, are we going to have good success based on how disciplined the leader is and how much they discipline their habits and their behaviors. Why? Because many leaders love strategy conversation. They love to talk about strategy. They love to talk about what I'm going to do or what I have planned next on the docket. We talk about that all the time, but few love the discipline that is necessary to see it come to fruition. Few love reconciling financial reviews. Few love reading monthly reviews on your finances. Many love vision casting, but few love reconciling accounts. And not just money accounts. Sometimes we got to reconcile our relationship accounts. Woo. Who are you working with that is draining your account? Oh, that's a good one. Who are you working with that's draining your patience, draining your strength, draining your joy? Not just reconciling on your finances. Yes, we want to do that too, but we also want to reconcile our resources. Who is it that is draining us, right? Because we recognize that that is an imperative part of where we're going. We have to make sure that we're doing the reconcilement because we love the vision cast, but what are we doing with it? So there's order that comes with structure. And then with the structure, there has to be an execution. So here, we're not moving on intention. We're talking about using what we have, execution. So James 2:7 says, even so faith, if it have not works, is dead being alone. So faith is powerful, but faith without follow through does not produce fruit. Faith is powerful, but faith alone does not produce fruit. Execution is where our stewardship becomes viable. This is where we need to execute. So again, many love expansion. Many want to expand. Many want to grow. Many want to see great things. But what are we doing? Are we tracking our cash flow consistently to ensure that we are ready for growth? So here we got to make sure that we're ready for growth, that we're ready to move in the kind of lanes that bring us stability, in the kind of lanes that produces good fruit. So here, Proverbs 21:5 says, the thoughts of the diligent tend only to plenteous. The diligent tends only to plenteous, but of everyone that is hasty, only to want. And so here we want to make sure that we're not just aligning ourselves to the vision itself, but we are executing. We are executing. We are moving forward. We're doing the things that bring us closer to our vision so that whatever we vision cast, whatever we have planned, whatever has been released in heaven, we're able to manifest it in the earth. We've gotten permission from heaven to do it. So now let's be about operating in our businesses so that we can see the results of our labor. We want results. So diligent produces abundance, but haste produces lack. Haste produces lack. Haste produces lack. We want to remember that. When I'm hasty, that's what the Bible talks about. Be anxious for nothing, but in everything through prayer and supplications with thanksgiving, make your requests made known unto God. So here again, don't be hasty. We have to be diligent. We have to be moving forward in such a capacity that it produces abundance, so that we remain, so that we don't become weary in well-doing, even in your business. So that while it might be small, if you're faithful over little, he'll make you ruler over much. Don't despise small beginnings. Don't just throw in the towel because it hasn't sparked, because you're not getting the numbers you anticipated. Always plan for the worst scenario and hope for the best. We're planning for both scenarios here. And so we want to make sure that we are prepared in such a way that it produces good fruit. And so as we move forward in the things of our business, because again, execution is diligence over time. You've got to give some things time. I know you're like me. Sometimes I want things to rush faster. Sometimes I want things to happen faster. But execution happens over time. I was just saying in the ministry that fast is not always the answer. Fast and quick. Sometimes it is slow that gives us stability, things that can sustain, things that last, fruit that will remain. So no intensity for a week, not motivation, not intensity, not motivation for a quarter, but consistency. So again, we can be having intensity, but it only lasts for a short period of time. These are spurts. These are bursts that we have. But what we want to do is we want to have a consistent pace of our growth so that the fruit remains. So consistency. Love and motion looks like showing up when it's not exciting. Oh my God, can I share that for a moment? Everything is not going to be exciting. Some things are necessary for you to do because it comes with the course. It's part of your journey. It's part of the learning. It's part of the process. I remember, I never forget this. It's a couple of decades ago. The Lord, I was talking to him. It was just so much going on in my marketplace ministry, working in corporate America. And I was like, oh my goodness, I am just having problems. And the Lord reminded me, that's what they pay you for. You're a leader. You're a senior leader. They pay you to handle problems. And so sometimes I want to remind you as business owner, you have to level set your spirit. You have to be able to pray. You have to be able to reconcile within you that these are normal days. Do not align to failure. Do not feel like because something did not work, you failed. No, what you learned is that doesn't work. What you learned is I need to try another path. What I learned is I need to go another way. It does not mean I failed. Failure is an event, not your identity. It is not your identity. It's not what you align to and malign on it and fall into depression or doubt. Thank you, Spirit. You're not that leader. Things happen, even though you might have the best laid plans, and I've done it myself. We planned, we strategized, we worked together, and then some things come up that were not part of the plan. And what you do over time, as you gain strength, wisdom, knowledge, you have others around you, you will learn how to adjust. You will learn how to pivot. You will learn how to quickly recover. That's the thing about having incidents or having problems, that they become a normal part of the process, that things happen, so that it's not crushing to you as a leader, so that you don't fall into that hole of a sinkhole because you had one occurrence. Maybe you put out a new product and it didn't sell well. Maybe you had a great idea and it sounded good to you, it sounded good to the team, but it didn't catch. That's okay. What it proved to you is that particular idea and the way you did it didn't work. Sometimes it's not a throwaway. Sometimes it's a refining. Sometimes you have to go back and say, okay, it didn't work. Why didn't it work? Sometimes we're too quick to throw in the towel. We're too quick to throw everything away. We're too quick to throw the whole idea away. No, maybe the idea is good, but maybe your marketing plan needed enablement. Yes, maybe the idea is good, but maybe your price point was too high. Maybe the idea was worthy, but maybe it's not the right season. So all of those things, conditions that also help support a new venture, a new idea, a new capability, a new strength, a new talent, a new product. All of those things have to come together. So that's why I say you have to be consistent in what you do and not be moved for when things happen. So here, follow through. That's what we're talking about. The discipline gap in leadership. You got to discipline yourself. You got to stay on the wall because everybody can't climb. A lot of times I've had so many leaders who want to throw in the towel because their team's capacity ran out. That's why you are the leader. That's why you're in the front. When I say you're in the front, you're the watchman on the wall. Don't come down. That means people are looking up to you. Thank you, Holy Spirit. They are looking to you for encouragement. They're looking to you for strength. You go to the master for your strength. You go to the master for your wisdom and knowledge. And then you come back and bring back the plan, just like Moses did. When he left the mountain, he brought back the tablets. Woo! You have to bring back the plan. You have to bring back the wisdom and the knowledge and the instructions to others so that they can run the race, so that they understand the will, the mission, the plan, the desires, the strategy, the goal. So with that, there's a discipline gap in leadership that we have to have. So here's what I've observed over the years, working with entrepreneurs, ministry leaders, and executive teams. The biggest gap is rarely knowledge. It's not that we don't know. A lot of us, oh my God, we're very intellectual. We're very intelligent. We have a lot of experience. We have a lot of exposure. It is not that. It's not the lack of knowledge. He said, my people perish for the lack of knowledge. We also perish for the lack of follow through. We have the information and we don't do it. We have information, even if the information is not in our hand, we have information readily at our availability. We have computers, we have people, we have processes, we have things that can help strengthen us, and then we don't go and follow through with it. So leaders know they should review our numbers monthly. Oh my God, I've told y'all many times, I am watching accounts daily. When you are multitasking, when you're multi-threaded, when you're multi-vocational, when you're multi-occupational, you have to keep your eye on the goal. And that requires you to have due diligence. You cannot expect what you don't inspect. You've got to be giving care to it. Here, evaluate your spending trends. You got to know where money is coming. A lot of times we give a lot of attention to money coming in and drawing in revenue, which is critical to business. If you don't have anything coming in, you're not in business. You got a hobby. You have a hobby if you're not making money. So you got to make sure that you're monitoring, that you're helping it move forward. But at the end of the day, you also got to make sure that you are monitoring your spending trends, because a lot of times what we lose is because we push it out, and we don't evaluate what we have going for us. So here we're going to lose on the other end. We will lose on the other end because we're putting it in the door and we're throwing it out the back door window, the back door. It's going out the back door. So here we're losing still. We want to make sure that we are gaining in the things of God, and that we're advancing, and that we are looking and giving attention to it. And so that is very important. Here we want to make sure that we are monitoring our cash flow again. Cash flow, what is coming in, our revenue, and then what the difference is, that's our cash flow. Our revenue minus our expenses, that is our cash flow. So we want to make sure that we're having our cash flow. We want to measure return on investment. Again, some of us are pouring into ideas, pouring into products, pouring into services that they have the very minimal return on investment. We are spending thousands of dollars on things that are only giving us hundreds of dollars back. That is a point of reassessment. And so when we understand, when we look and be due diligent in those things, we can recognize that something is off course. We can recognize that I need to make a different decision. I need to have a pivot plan. Why? Because I am measuring return on investment, not the fact that I spent the money, not on the fact that the business is operational, not on the fact that I got a new product up. How well is the product doing? Is it giving you a good payback on the energy, the efficiency, the money, expenses that you're using? Sometimes we're paying for resources. We have people working for us. We're paying for them to work on an idea that is bringing us a shortfall. And so we're losing money, not just on the product, but also on the resources. You got to be looking at that from both sides. Business leader, business owner, entrepreneur. It's not just the cost of you putting the product out or the service out. It's also the cost of doing business. What is it costing you to run it? What is it costing you to produce it? And you got to measure your return on investment. Is it worth it? You know how I know? Oh my God, thank you, Holy Spirit. You know how I know when I have a mature leader who's running a business, you're okay shutting something down. You're not aligned to it. You're aligned to it helping the business. Oh, this is a sign of maturity. When you recognize that this isn't it, and you have the ability to say, you know what, that's not it. We have to pivot. We have to do something different. That lets me know you have matured where you understand the basics of business. If you're still aligned to an idea or aligned to a concept or aligned and it has become your identity, you're still shallow in business leadership. In business leadership, you got to understand there's a return on investment. The appropriate, you're able to move and pivot. So here, build, knowing, and doing are separated by discipline. When we know, knowing and doing is separated by discipline. When we're building, we can build and we can know. We can build and we have an idea. We can build and we have a concept. But as a business leader here, the building process, there's a big difference. That's what we're talking about, the gap between knowing and doing. We have to get to the point of doing, and that is defined by discipline. Here, Luke 16:10 says, he that is faithful in that which is little is faithful in that which is much. We've already said that. So we got to recognize that you can be faithful in little things, and little becomes more. And more, we get into that good, better, best. Never let it rest until your good is better and your better is best. You don't rest on it. You don't sit on your laurels. You don't become lazy. You become actively engaged. You give it all your attention and all your strength to push it forward. So faithfulness is not about capacity. It is also about consistency. It's not about just capacity, because you have to have the capacity to be able to be strengthened in it, but you also need consistency, because it's consistently plus focus leads to progress. We want to progress in our business. So execution closes the gap between potential and performance. Lord have mercy. We got a lot of potential, but we need some performance. If you want to see it, you've got to execute. So here's the hard truth. Inconsistent execution creates financial instability. If you're inconsistent, you don't know where, you don't know how it needs to be. And when we're inconsistent, it creates inconsistent financial instability. We're unstable. Double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. So here, but even when income is strong, you can have strong income coming in, but if you're inconsistent in how you use it, how you appropriate it, how you distribute it, where you put it, it will still lead to poverty. Oh my goodness. You can still have a good fruit. We talked about that on Sunday. It can still be good fruit, but in the wrong soil, it will still fail. You can have a good idea. You can have a good concept. You can even have good leaders around you. Oh my God. But you put it in the wrong soil. You put good people under bad leadership. Oh my God, it's going to fail. You put good resources into bad ideas, it's going to fail. So here you can have strong financial backing, strong financial income, but if we're not appropriating it well, if we're not executing it well, if we're not monitoring it well, it will not yield good fruit. So revenue does not fix discipline problems. Well, we have discipline problems in handling money. I'm talking to ministry leaders. I'm talking to business owners. I'm talking to entrepreneurs. Revenue will not fix it. I hear people say, I just need more money. What are you doing with what you already have? That's my first question. How are you appropriating what you already have? Because if you're appropriating what you already have well, more will come. So here, revenue does not fix discipline problems. Growth does not fix revenue gaps. So growing bigger, all that does is expose your cracks. Growing bigger will expose where you have holes. It will expose where you are weak. So you've got to make sure that you shore up all your weak spaces before you grow. You want to grow slow, so that way capacity is strengthened, abilities are grown, talents and discerning spirits are identified. You can see where talent is. Because that slowness gives you opportunity. Expansion does not fix oversight. It really shows you your weaknesses. It will show them. Only discipline does that. Only discipline will fix the areas that need correction. So here, going to our last point, executing in ministry, business, and organizations. So let's get practical before we close out. What are some practical things we can do? So if you are in ministry, execution means reviewing the financial reports, monthly, not quarterly. We got to get to a quicker pace. We got to understand where we are. We got to understand what we're doing. We do that. Monthly meetings with the finance team to look at, with the accountant, to evaluate, to understand, to know what we're doing so that we don't miss our moment. You don't miss opportunities. What do you mean? Where do we need to show up? Where do we need to correct? Where do we need to press in? What do we need to hold back? That monthly meeting, that quicker cadence help you to be able to course correct quicker, which means you lose less. There's less leakage if you're able to course correct quicker. Comparing spending actuals to your budget. We look at that. We want to look at, okay, here's what we budgeted for the month, but what did we spend? We want to make sure we're doing that kind of evaluation so that you know as a leader, these are some practical executions that you can put in place today to help strengthen your ministry. Ensuring funds are used in alignment with your mission, making sure you're not just willfully spending, not doing it because it's a great idea, not doing it because your favorite person said it. No, we're doing it because it is on mission. It's on task with what we said we would do. So here, making adjustments early, not after deficits appear. We don't want to wait till everything is left and everything is gone. And then we say, oh my God, we got to stop. Okay, we've lost the period of correction. We have now lost some lead time, and now we have to make up even more. So here, what you want to do, because stewardship in ministry is not about scarcity. It's not about scarcity. It's about responsibility. You have to steward what you have, even though it might be little. God will make it much because you're giving attention to it. You want to make sure that you're doing what you need to do so that it can be blessed. God honors stewardship. God honors discipline. So here is about responsibility. For a business leader, a business owner, execution to you, when you talk about money, you talk about management, it looks like tracking profit, not just your revenue. A lot of times, oh, I got a lot of money coming in. That's revenue. You want to track profit. What's your cash flow? After you have revenue coming in and then you have paid your expenses, what's left is profit. So sometimes we're thinking we're doing very great because we're only looking at it from one point of the picture. You've got to look at the whole perspective. You've got to thread it all the way through. So you've got to track your profit, not just your revenue. As a business owner, you've got to monitor that cash flow weekly. What is coming in and what is going out? What is coming in, what's going out? Because you want to make sure that you have enough and more than enough so that you move into profit. Evaluate your expenses for effectiveness. Again, looking at expenses for effectiveness. We talked about return on income. Where am I putting money in that's really giving me a good payback? Again, evaluate your expenses for effectiveness. Am I spending in a place that is effective for the business mission and vision? Am I getting back a good return? And then making decisions from data, not pressure. Well, it's good. Business owners, business leaders, we want to make our evaluations from data, not pressure. And so that's why planning, that's why strategizing, that's why having an execution plan and watching and monitor helps us to eliminate pressure so that when things are happening, right, when things are slowing down or things are getting off course, you're able to correct quickly and not get to the place where it has become pressure because you've expected it and you're able to pivot. So here, cash flow is oxygen to the business. It is oxygen. It is the fuel that you need to sustain. It is the fuel that you need to move forward. And execution protects your oxygen. Oh my God. It's just like being on a plane and they say if something happens, the mask falls out, put it on you. Why? Because you need that oxygen. So here your cash flow is your oxygen and your execution protects it. Protect your cash flow. Protect it by managing and monitoring. So here for organizational leaders, some of you are like me. You're leaders in the marketplace ministry. We're out in corporate America. We're executives. We're senior leaders. We're board chairmen. We're doing things at a level of capacity that requires us to have good decision-making processes so that they are data-driven. So here, execution looks like this for you. Holding leadership accountable to financial policies. So holding everybody accountable to what we said we would do or financial policies of the organization. Why? Because that's going to limit your exposure. You do not want to be exposed as a leader. I check with my team all the time. Where are we against our budgets on our projects? We manage multi-million-dollar projects. Where are we? The little bit can become much if you're not managing and monitoring. Sometimes you can be thinking, oh, we got $2 million on a big organization project. We got 5, we got 10. Yes, but iteratively over time, when you have 30 people working on it, that money will continue to drain. You've got to be watching where you are and making sure everybody is managing the finances according to your policy. Here, requiring reporting standards. So when do I get my reports? We have a good cadence. We walk through our reports every week. For the various projects, for the various initiatives. So if you're managing at the organizational level, you've got to be key because you cannot expect what you don't inspect. You've got to make sure that you're keeping your eye on the prize and you're reviewing and you have enough cadence. Some areas, some projects, some teams, I don't have to meet with them weekly. Some areas, some projects, some teams, we might meet every other week, or we might meet monthly. But the undercurrent of those teams are meeting daily. We have scrum meetings every day. Depending on what we're working on is the point of the conversation. So here, ministry leader, rather organizational leader, you've got to make sure that you have a good cadence on reporting and reporting standards. Reviewing forecasts, not just current balances. This is so good. Review the forecast. How are things planned to be spent? What is the potential for spend next month? How are we looking? Are we going to meet our numbers? Because we've worked in some organizations where coming in less will look as well, but coming in a very big shortfall is not a good thing, because you're doing a shortfall on this month. That money could have been used somewhere else. So the goal is to come to a very close to what you projected you would be spending monthly for your effort. If you're an organizational leader, a shortfall is not good, because that money could have been appropriated to another area. So while you didn't spend it, now there's excess of funds that were not attributed in a month where there was capacity that could have used it. So that's why I want to encourage you, review your forecast, not just your current balance, so you know where you are. And then lastly, making corrections before you have crisis. All organizational leader, senior leader, executive, chairmen, board members, you want to make sure that you are making corrections before you hit crisis. We don't want to hit crisis. What do I need to course correct? So execution creates predictability. When you execute, now you understand how much of a well-oiled machine you have. You can understand your people you're working with. You know those that labor among you. You know how well they execute. You know how they can come through for you. And so here you want to make sure that execution creates predictability. That's why you got to get going. You got to make sure you're doing something. And predictability builds stability. Stability builds confidence. So I want to encourage you today, don't avoid it. Address something this week that is needed and necessary. Address it, because sometimes avoiding becomes exposure reality. It becomes a reality. If you don't address it, there is a cost to avoidance. You start to see it, and it's very expensive. So we've heard today just some of the things that we can do in this particular week as we move forward. Schedule our standing financial reviews. We can identify one financial habit that must be changed. We can commit to one disciplined action for the next 90 days. Just one thing, not forever. Just pick up one thing you know you need to do to build a rhythm. Whether it is sometimes even as a leader, you need to work on you first. Maybe you need to build a rhythm for prayer. Set a specific time. Get up and do it. It doesn't have to be a long tarrying time. It can be a short, brief prayer, but you're creating consistency and you're creating discipline. Maybe it's creating a reporting structure. Make sure that you're operating with reports, data, and not just from what we think or what people are saying. You want to be able to see that for yourself. So alignment gives us clarity, structure gives us order, and execution will give us results. We're looking for results, right? Love and motion produces growth. So thank you for joining us today on the Money Monday broadcast. I am Pastor Tawana Grant, and I am your host. I'm so excited to be with you on today. I hope that you enjoy the rest of your afternoon. This has been your lunchtime learning. We look forward to seeing you on next Monday for another Money Monday. Peace and blessings to you.